Just waiting for it to populate. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hi, hi. Are we live? Hello, test. Yep. Okay. Hi, everyone. Heather here and doing an impromptu live stream. There's going to be a lot of that this week. But super excited to have another special guest with me today. I have James of James and Mark, the YouTube channel. And James has been a really good friend of mine since college. I think we've been friends like for more than half our lives. Not yet, but it feels like that.
We were friends when MySpace was popular.
Yeah, so if that doesn't give you a date range. But James started his YouTube journey in 2016 and over the weekend hit 10,000 subscribers, which is so exciting, so cool. I can't believe it, but I'm super happy for you. So I kind of just, we talk all the time about YouTube daily, like on GChat, but, for me, I just kind of wanted to talk about like, what's the difference? How did you get there? And of course, if you guys are tuning in live, if you have any questions, we're going to be peeping in. But make sure to go check out James and Mark's channel. The link's in the description. And then James, when you get a chance, if you can link it in the chat, that would be awesome. So for anybody who happens or does not know who you are, do you want to give a little intro as to who you are, what's your channel about, what kind of content do you make?
Sure. So my name is James of James and Mark, and we film mukbangs, which are online broadcasts of us eating food. We try to post at least twice a week. We go on live every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and then we do more of a edited, filmed, nicer mukbang on the weekends. Oh my gosh. Sorry. And so I got thrown off because I clicked on a tab and I started talking. Yeah, that's what we do. We film ourselves eating and people watch us. And it's been fun. I think we've been on here about 2.5 years. So I remember when we first hit 100 subscribers and then 1,000 and then most recently 10,000. And I feel like every time we've hit some kind of milestone, we kind of sit down and think about, well, what next? Because what can we do to level up our channel? And so I'm excited to kind of check in with Heather, and Heather's been a great mentor to me in terms of like how we can really improve our channel, take it to the next level, and stand out. Because as soon as I started doing it, like there was just a flood of other people who were like thinking, well, I can do mukbangs too. And so it's been a challenge to like stand out amongst the crowd. And YouTube is there's room for everyone with YouTube, right? But it's also like at the end of the day, you want the eyeballs to come to your channel. So that's been really invigorating to talk to Heather, to have like another opinion on like how we can actually get ourselves there. So thank you to Heather as well for helping us get to 10,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so it's just cool because I just think back to like pre all of this and how crazy it is that we are doing this now. I don't know, it's funny, it's cool, it's amusing, but it's also like, it's nice to know that I'm not alone in this, So
yeah,
thank you for freaking doing it and like actually taking my advice.
Well, just a really quick side note. One of the first videos Heather actually asked us to make was counting from 1 to 20, and like me and Mark, we chose Swahili or something like where we're like not sure about doing. And I think it was that was a very pivotal point, because it was like we were still very much like, what's video? What am I doing on here? Why am I putting myself out there? And to the point where now I'm like, oh, let's go on live whenever we get a chance. Like I'm shaving my mustache, let's go on live. Like it's just like there's no limit now. And so that's been very it's been nice to kind of see that journey. And I think that's why this 10,000 was a really cool milestone, because we really got to reflect on everything that we had to do to actually get there. And so, yeah.
So crazy. So, I mean, I'm trying to find the balance between like what we wanted to talk about and what I think people are interested in.
Sure.
So let's knock out what I think people are interested in. Of course, I'm looking at the comments, so feel free to chime in, guys. But what's the difference between pre and post 10,000 subscribers? 10,000 subscribers, I think, is the goal that all of us dream of. It's like, oh my God, I can't imagine having like, you know, the 5 figures, you know, it's like, it just seems so kind of attainable, but not. And you're one of the few who's gotten there. So is there a difference? Like, what's changed? Did you get any like new features or whatever?
So the one thing was just it's interesting. I didn't know that this would happen, but there was a huge like morale boost in just getting there. Because I think for the longest time, me and Mark were like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then now it's happened. And then now it's like, well, what next? But I have a sense of pride opening up our little page and just seeing that 10,000 number. And then it's to the point where if someone unsubscribes from me, it's like, well, we're still in the 10,000. Like, that's really cool. Whereas before, I remember when we were like in the hundreds and you know exactly when someone unsubscribed from you. So I think having that magnitude kind of just helps you feel like more focused on just creating content because people are clearly watching us, right? So now it's just more focused on that versus let me grow, which is also still in the back of my mind. But at the end of the day, it's about people are actually giving us their time to watch us on a weekly basis. So we want to make sure we're delivering things that would actually entice them to watch us. Yeah.
So going off of that, in terms of like your approach and the things that you spend time thinking about when it comes to YouTube and your channel, how has it changed from like, you know, growth mode till now?
So it's interesting with the earlier times when we were trying to grow our channel, like we were just following any and every trend that was out there. If someone challenged us, it was like, we have to do the challenge. Now I feel like me and Mark are more conscious about having our stamp on how we want to do things on our channel. And I think that we were more fixated on like chasing the numbers, but now it's like, well, how do we make it our brand? How do we make it about us? And that's been really cool to see us have that kind of liberty whereas before we felt a little bit more restrained to play the numbers game. So an example that I can give you is like, you know, I've talked to Heather about this, like on mukbangs, seafood boils are very popular. Everyone and their mom does it. It's guaranteed views on our channel, at least, because a lot of people discovered us through that way. But then most recently we did a 10K celebration and we thought to ourselves, well, how are we going to make this different so we don't do like another 10th seafood boil? And Mark had the idea of grilling our king crab legs. And I know that's not the most inventive thing in the world, but at least at the time it was different for us. And that's the kind of like mind shift that we've had is like, how do we make it so it's not like a copycat of everyone else, but it's, you know, I'm at James and Mark's channel. They're doing James and Mark on here. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, that it's funny because no matter what genre, I feel like on YouTube, whether you're doing like news and commentary, vlogs, mukbangs, whatever, there's that signature look of that genre. And it's so hard not to be like everything kind of looks the same. Because I feel that with vloggers, you know, it's like I don't want to say Casey copycats because then you could say that about me as well, since he was obviously a huge influence on me. But you know, there's just a lot of stuff that looks the same. So how have you figured out like how to be more authentic, how to be more you? What are some tips that you would share with someone who's like trying to find that out for their own content?
Sure. I mean, I can give a clear example, and Heather knows this firsthand. So Mark, my husband, he does not like to touch food. And if you watch any other mukbang channel, they're like getting food all over their face. Their hands are dirty. He's been wearing black gloves in our last 2-3 videos, and it's been turning heads. Like people would enter and are like write in the comments like, well, what's that all about? But they've been with us long enough to know that Mark doesn't like to touch food. And that's just who he is. And that's him staying true to like what he wants to do on our channel. So I think not feeling so pressured to like just do it because everyone else is doing, but really owning like that's your channel and you're able to have that creative freedom to present your content in the way that you think best represents you. And we've given advice to a lot of other people who have watched us and ended up growing bigger than we could ever imagine. And it always starts out with just being yourself, right? It's simple, but at the same time, it's difficult to stick to that, because when you start a channel, sometimes all you're thinking about is like, how do I get to 1 million subscribers? Well, this person is doing all of these things, let me do that too. And at a certain point, you can't keep that, the jig will be up, like you can't do that forever. So I think even though, 2.5 years in my mind sounds like a long time to get to 10,000, but at the end of the day, we know at least those 10,000 people are watching us for us, not some other person that they thought they knew or whatever.
Right. They have a real connection to both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I have a lot of people who are following me that are aspiring creators, and you're now at this, you've crossed this milestone that so many of us, aspire to. What do you think is like, what would be your number one tip if you can go back to day one and tell yourself, like, I don't know, maybe something that you think might shortcut the 2.5 years? What would be like your, number one, or like tips for success to like kind of make it grow as effectively as possible? Not necessarily fast,
Yeah. I want to say I want to say one thing that we've been very conscious about is not being so set in the way we do things. So I remember the first time we had a second camera in one of our mukbangs, and then right after I posted it, I told Heather, hey, check this out. Isn't it like cool? We could see another angle. And it was just those little things that kept us going. Like we also, at the end of the day, had to be excited about putting out content, because there was a period of time where I can admit I was just like, everyone was saying consistency. So I was just like pushing out as much content, but then the quality wasn't quite there. It was just a numbers thing where I was just trying to flood people's feeds and hope that they subscribe. And, me and Mark had this more frank conversation about, well, what can we promise and actually deliver on? And then that's when we were like, well, we could do a live once a week, and then we could do a filmed one. I eventually want to expand that and maybe try to push ourselves to 2 filmed ones and 1 live, but we can have that discussion later. But it was just all those little things where we just didn't get comfortable with how we were doing things. Like I'll watch my old videos and I'm like, how did we ever get away with the lighting that we had back in the day? Like it was just shadows everywhere. I was blurry as heck. It was just like a mess. And then even on top of that, like the sound and audio, which is ironic because we posted a 10,000K video and the audio was screwy, but that's a different story. But again, we wouldn't have gotten to the point where we are now without making all those little tweaks. So I would just say for any creator out there is first start. I mean, that's the one thing I keep hearing people say is like, you're not going to get to the 10,000 subscribers if you're just thinking about it. You actually have to do something, right? And it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be fun to watch back on because you're going to see how much you've grown. And then on top of that, finding ways to keep it fun and exciting for you, especially if you're going to do a show that involves your partner, making sure that you guys are both on the same page about, what you're putting out there. So that's probably my biggest tip is, have fun with it, have a vision, and then make it happen. Love it.
So both of you guys have full-time jobs. What's the end goal for YouTube? Do you have one? Is it just, it's fun right now, we're just going to keep going and just see what happens? Or is there, kind of a finish line?
I think right now there is no finish line. I think right now it's just something that we can do together. And it's actually been incredible that, initially I want to say my motivations for starting out the channel was just like something to do, a hobby. Now it's turned into like a way that we've been able to document our life together. Like this sounds really weird, but like recently I went to someone's funeral and I just thought to myself like, wow, you have photos and then you have all this. And then now when I think about me and Mark, it's like we have a living documentary of our life. Sure, we're just eating and that's just one aspect of it. But now people can get to know us who have never had any interaction with us at some point in time. And for me, it's kind of like, it's like my new you know, back in the day, I would write like in a Zynga, which is like a blog online. This is kind of like my new version of it, but it's just in video format, and it's dynamic in my opinion. So I would say that's kind of like what we're going towards. We're not really trying to like quit our full-time jobs or do anything like that, but just having this like thing that we can share in together and chronicle our relationship together.
Yeah, totally. One of Gary V's like biggest things is he'll look at the camera and like speak to his son and be like, I know you're watching this right now. Cause like in the moment when the son is like watching it 20 years from now or something.
Yeah.
It's like he's talking to him, which is
that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's like what I think people are gonna be interested. Now let's like, you know, you're on my channel. I don't know how many of your subscribers are here, but like,
yeah, if anyone is here from James and Mark's channel, just say hi in the chat really quick. I didn't really announce that we were doing this, but if any of you are here, cool.
Yeah. So for real, how's YouTube life?
It's good. I'm excited. Mark just brought home.
Ta-da!
So I'm like excited to bust this out. I'm gonna probably watch a couple of tutorials on how to use this thing. And you know, there's been a couple like other exciting developments. We just booked our honeymoon to Japan. So I'm thinking like, oh, what kind of cool things could we capture while we're there? Obviously, I won't have the camera out the entire time, but like, you know, even then, like, I'm just excited to have that as an option, and just even being more comfortable filming and using technology so that I can, you know, document our travels. So that's exciting. We also promised our subscribers once we hit 10,000 to do a meetup. And so that was kind of like one of the goals I wanted out of this was like, well, one, what do we even do? And yeah, what do we even do? Like, I don't even know. So we're not sure. We're trying to do something by the end of this year. Otherwise, I feel like it'll be difficult to actually like execute something. So I know you had done like a progress party, which was really cool. And I'm wondering if we would model it after that. But then we also have this like irking fear that no one will show up either to ours. So it's like, I don't know.
I mean, I had one person that I didn't already know show up. Like
okay.
who had like met me from my YouTube channel. And, you know, you guys are at a totally different level. I was doing it as a meetup, but really, you know, more for just me to be able to, because everyone at WeWork at the time was like doing these launch parties. I was like, I'm never gonna have a launch party because I'm not gonna open up a brick and mortar or like launch a new website or whatever. And I was like, I should just have, you know, something to celebrate something. So, but I mean, even if it's like 3 people, it's so much fun. Like, because you're gonna have like you and Mark, you know, so it's gonna be like a real like cool group where you guys just hang out. I know for sure you're gonna get at least a handful of people, but
yeah,
if that scares you, just, you know, invite your friends, like I did.
Mark was joking about just making our birthday like with friends, and then just invite everyone on YouTube to our birthday too. And I was like,
I like that idea.
I don't know if and then we would have to wait until March. So I just don't know. I mean, that was just an idea that was thrown out.
That's cute. That's cute. I think I should do that because it's both you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. So, I mean, do it like a, you know.
Well, we feel like it needs to have food involved, no? Just to be on brand.
I was gonna say, like, do it at like a, you know. Honestly, if you end up getting like RSVPs, you could probably get a restaurant to like sponsor.
Huh.
Just saying, or you know, some kind of.
Or like I was just thinking maybe something like a brewery or like something where it's like casual, where we don't have to like do numbers and all that.
Yeah, just show up.
Just show up and have a beer with James and Mark.
I love that. That would be so cool. I mean, we'll go.
But yeah, outside of that, and then the other big thing that's happening right now is I ditched the previous software I was using to edit the videos that I've been putting out. So getting used to Adobe Premiere has been not, I wouldn't say challenging, but it's just getting used to it, right? And there's so many capabilities that I can do that I feel like I'm not even at that level. Like I feel like I've just transitioned in using that software in the same way that I maxed out the previous software that I was using. So now I'm like excited to, you know, level that up too. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard when you have, like, because I just recently moved from my movie to Final Cut, and when you are still trying to figure out what the thing can even do, you can't even like imagine, you know, it's like you can't even envision what you're going to edit or like what you can make out of it, because you just don't, you've never had that like feature before.
Right.
So,
and now I'm also thinking like we have the now my primary camera is going to be my secondary camera. And now we have so now there's that element of like, well, like we can do an angle like above our heads or something. Now, like, I just don't know. There's so many possibilities. So yeah, it's just exciting. I think it's this YouTube thing is, and I've talked to you about this before. It's like in ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm like on the biggest high about it, and then the other times I'm just like, I just want to like be like, okay, I'm done. But right now I'm on this high, obviously. But it's just like
I think like when we came up with this idea, it was it was in a flow state, like low flow state.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's me too, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, just the vlog I put out this morning, which if you haven't seen it, I filmed with a Canon M50, and oh my gosh, it's so clear. I couldn't believe it.
I have not gotten to watch it, but I will watch it right after this.
It's fine. You don't, honestly, it's just me talking about how I have no idea what I'm doing. But but yeah, I don't know. It's so, I feel like every time I think about YouTube, I go through the same thought process of like, but I don't want to care about the numbers and, you know, how people respond to it. I just want to do what I want to do. But then it's like, well, if I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to put in the time and put in like, you know, all the energy into editing, then I want to maximize the potential and the reach and the exposure. And then, you know, it's so.
But that's just not in you to like only go in halfway, you know? Like
yeah.
You've always been like, if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to do it 150%. So, and it's tough to like maintain that level of like enthusiasm for it, you know? But
right.
I think it helps to connect with other creators, because I think before, you know, I didn't really like especially when I was new to the mukbang community, it was just like they all knew each other. And then now I'm starting to feel, I mean, obviously we're not a trailblazer or anything, but at least, hey, every now and then people will be like, oh, James and Mark. But back then it was like, who? Now it's like, and I think that's always helped us kind of like push ourselves to be like at that level. And then I think the other thing we've tried to differentiate ourselves from, and not saying that other YouTubers are bad about it, but we really try to make sure that anyone that does spend time and watches us, we reciprocate that in some fashion, whether it is supporting their channel, whether it is reading their comments out loud, responding to every comments we're pretty good about. So like we've tried to do that because we noticed that that's not happening across the board.
That's so good.
But it's time consuming.
Yeah,
we love doing it, but it's time consuming.
That's why you guys are at 10K though.
Well, it's the little things that, you know, like even in recent months, I remember watching another video just says like, you know, leave meaningful comments on other videos that are in your niche. Don't make it spammy, but hey, and it's surprising, like there's comments that I've left on other channels that's gotten more views than like 5 of my videos combined. I'm just like, and probably from that handful, like 1% have transferred over and have like started watching our videos. So I think there's, you know, there's so many different strategies on like how you want to get more subscribers. But I still feel like at the end of the day, if you do create, because I think about what's my motivation when I subscribe to someone new, and it's not just because they watch me, but it's like, do they put in the effort to, you know, put something together at the level that they're at? And I'm gonna, you know, I will support that, because I remember being we're at that point where like no one would watch any of the stuff we were putting out there. And so I think it's helpful to have that kind of build up, because we've had conversations about how there's creators that think that they have a monopoly on the space. And so that's what we're trying not to convey, at least through our community.
I really appreciate that. How, I mean, now I'm going back and forth, but how would you like, how do you keep going when no one is watching?
How do I keep going when nobody's watching?
When it feels like no one's watching?
You know, I think of it as a challenge. I think of it as, well, what was it about the last video that no one wanted to watch? And how am I going to make the content for the next video more engaging? And it's kind of like, did you ever watch Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember when everyone like doubted her, and then she was like, "F this, I'm gonna go work out." She bought a new Mac computer, and then she showed up to class and she answered questions. Like, I have that kind of like, oh, so you don't believe in me now? Well, then I'll show you type of like drive. And I think that's also like what's helped me like move forward with keeping the channel going.
Yeah. See, I need more of that, because I think I default to like, I don't care, you know, but I don't know. I think that only like will take me so far.
Right.
So what
I do want to say,
yeah, go.
I was going to say, I do want to say one thing, going back to your earlier question about advice I would give like my past self, is really avoid trying to compare yourself to other people. It's so easy to get caught up in that. And so just remove the best that you can, because you're not going to be that person. Like at the end of the day, you're never going to be that person. You can only be yourself. And if yourself only attracts this many subscribers, then own it. Those people are committed to watching you, and enjoy that. And I think that's what you and Tom had talked about on a ShareSpark Live once, is like, you know, you get 2 views, but at the end of the day, that's 4 eyeballs. I'm doing the math. 4 eyeballs that spent the time to watch you. That's incredible. And that should be what has value to it, not the fact that this video's hit 1 million views. So.
Yeah. Like today, my video is not, I mean, my channel is like psycho, because, you know, 7,400 subs, I think. And, you know, the video I put out today was like 50 views, but I had really engaging comments. And so it's like, it's very easy for me to ignore that insane ratio when I'm getting engaging comments, especially from people, you know, who you could tell that they watched it. There's a lot of thought behind their feedback and stuff like that. And I mean, that's why I do it. That's like the amazing part of this platform. But yeah, it's just hard sometimes. You know, honestly, for me, comparing was never a thing, I don't think.
Okay, that's good.
But I think I could see how it would be in your niche, though, because it's so, there's very, like, you know,
what suggested videos do you get? Do you get other vloggers as your suggested content?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Because all I see is like mukbangs. That's why it's easy for me to be like, well, what's this person doing? And then it's like, oh, well, they're like way more built up. So I don't know if it has to do with that.
See, so I'm a really bad, like Tom can tell you, I don't really watch YouTube. Every time I go onto YouTube, I only go to my subscription box. Like I completely ignore the homepage. As soon as the video is done, I probably swipe out before it even finishes. So I don't even see like suggested.
Yeah.
Which is so strange. But I'll tell you, all of the ads that I've been seeing are like, this is how you get more clients, and like all these like entrepreneur things, which are so annoying. But yeah, I'm like looking through my page, right? Recommended Gary V, James and Mark, PewDiePie, and Phil DeFranco. It's like a lot of people I'm already subscribed to. Not a single mukbang. But so, what are you struggling with right now? Like, what's on the plate?
I guess, now that we've reached, it sounds really weird, but we've reached a goal, and now it's like, well, what do we want to do next? And I don't want it to be like 20,000 or 100,000 now. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do next. Like, I'm sure we'll continue leveling up our channel because now we have a camera that will get me excited. We have the new software. So I think there's going to be like another transformation on our channel, hopefully, like over time. So I'm excited about that, but I don't know what to do next, I guess, is what I'm struggling with. Oh, they're so cute.
I had to kick the dogs out because they were going nuts. But let's see. Mark says more views also comes with more dislikes. That's very, very true. And we could do more with intentional planning, storyboarding. I like that, Mark, because that's what I've been thinking. That's what I've really been struggling with lately, because I could totally daily vlog. I can live stream all day. But I like when I take the time, like multiple days, to create something. I've always liked what I end up creating.
Yeah.
But I've never like stuck to a schedule of doing that. Like Tom does that. He does, once a week. And a lot of the videos he'll make in one day, but there's also plenty where it's like over the span of 2 days or multiple days. How about you guys? I mean, because it's just you eat once. It's that one time, right? And then you just edit that.
Yeah. I think sometimes what we've been doing more recently with our more recent videos is figuring out what other footage people would like to see while we're talking and eating our food. So if it's the preparation of the food, it's like, well, now we have to film that. It's not just sitting, plopping ourselves in front of our TV and eating. It's like, well, where did we go pick up the steak? What did the guy tell us about the steak? How did we season it? What did it look like on the barbecue? And it's been interesting because more recently I've been using clips to really match the different platforms. Like I'm getting more views on Instagram on these like 30-second food clips than I am on our channel. And I'm wondering, are any of those people actually going to YouTube? I don't know. Do you have any insight on that?
Can you see the click-through?
We're not a business page.
Ah.
And then I remember you saying something about once you switch over, like, I don't know, like your stuff doesn't get viewed as much. I don't know. But so I never like transitioned over, but.
So you don't see that thing right there on the top?
No. Like I manage our social media for work and I have all of the access to the analytics, yeah. But yeah, my personal, I just keep it as that. So, yeah. But we've been doing that. And then on top of that, it's like, it's interesting because I'll get footage of just things that we're doing out and about. And to Mark's point, we're not storyboarding it, but then randomly I'm eating and then all of a sudden I bring up a topic because I know I have B-roll footage of it, which is probably not the most effective. And so like, even as I'm talking out loud, then, okay, maybe I need to make sure he's clued in on, hey, I took video footage of this unrelated thing. We should talk about it so that we can insert it into the video. We definitely can get better at storyboarding. I know he's been pushing that for a while. I think part of it is once we are like, okay, we're gonna do this mukbang, we cook, we sit down, we have to eat it before it gets cold. We don't really think about all the other things to make it a more like a seamless experience. So that, yeah, maybe that would be like a goal, is like really figuring out how we can be better storytellers during our videos, because we're not really doing that. We're just talking about the food and then random jib jabs at each other, and then that's about it.
Right. Holly Nicole says, any advice on something to kick off a brand new channel? I have 30,000 followers cross-platform, largely on Facebook, the most unengaged audience ever. Hoping to kick off my channel strong. Thoughts?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, if you just tuned in, we kind of shared some tips towards the beginning, so you can catch a replay or like just rewind a little bit. Any advice on how to kick off a brand new channel? Well, actually, that's funny because I've been helping to kick off a lot of brand new channels lately with clients.
Yeah.
I think James brought this up. Just start, because just go in knowing that your first 10 are going to suck. Like, because so much of it is you are the thing that is holding you back, especially when you're starting from zero. You're just so much in your head. There's so much that you're expecting from yourself and from the data and stuff like that. So just, I really recommend kind of, I did a live stream with one of my clients yesterday, Dominique Henderson, who's a financial advisor, and he put it like doing some kind of challenge where you end up grinding your teeth because it's like 90 posts in 90 days. Tom did a 30-day upload challenge. I've done daily vlogging for like up to 2 weeks. I really think that helps you just learn so much in terms of like what it means to actually be a YouTube creator. You could hear it, you could watch it, you could read about it, you could learn about it, but it's a totally different thing when you actually have to pick up the camera and figure out like how to tell your story and be as authentic as possible. And then like you're uploading, you're trying to make thumbnails and all that. It's just like it's hard to explain. So that's what I would recommend is like just set a goal to like upload 10 things at the bare minimum. And then what I would do is just making sure that like branding is on point too, some kind of consistency. And then making sure that every video has a point. Like what is the message that you want to say and what's the takeaway that you want to leave with your audience? I know it's like a lot. It's very like conceptual, but if you do what James and Mark are trying to do more of, which is like being intentional and storyboarding, that's definitely what I would go back and like tell myself. I had the daily vlog. I had to do it the way that I did it, but also I think I could have been more effective if I sat down and like did more outlining, and not just for like the one video, but even, because if I had known I was going to keep doing this for 2.5 years, I would have even tried to plan like ahead, like what am I going to be talking about for the next month? Which is what I'm trying to do now. Especially the video I uploaded today was like, okay, my next 4 videos are going to fall under a theme of what would I have told myself when I first started my entrepreneurial journey. So anyway,
that's very interesting. That you got me hooked just off of that little line that you just said right there. Like I would watch that.
Yeah. And I think I'm excited. See, the fact that I'm excited about it, that's another thing. Cause you mentioned that too, is like when no one's watching or it feels like no one's watching, it just has to be about you being excited about it. Otherwise, like you're just going to immediately be demoralized when you put all this time and effort into something and you get no views. So it can't be about the views. You cannot.
Yeah.
It's just a losing game. It has to be about like, your passion. You're passionate about it. It will convey, and just trust the process.
Well, that's why we eat on ours, because if no one watches, at least we had a delicious meal, right? It's true.
I love
There's been a few instances where we ate something not good and we filmed it. That's when you could really tell on our face. But outside of that, we always make sure we try to eat something that's good, and then we're going to be happy at the end of the day.
I love that. So what's your advice?
Kicking off a brand new, have 30K followers, cross-platform. I don't know if I've had much success bringing people from other platforms to like funneling them. So I would almost recommend like, don't even think that because you have 30K, it's going to translate over to YouTube. YouTube is like in itself a different beast. So just treat it as the commitment and that you put towards getting 30K followers, have that same mindset for YouTube and figure out what is it that you need to do. So if it is like what Heather said, like filming 10 videos so that you can really learn where your skill sets are and what you need to improve on, if that's what it's going to take for you to kick off your channel, then I would do that. And I'm not sure what your topic is for your channel. But yeah, making sure that it's something that you can sustain and you enjoy, and it's something that you really want to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've seen a lot of people try to start vlogs, you know, having larger followings on other platforms. It's always so interesting to watch because it's like I feel like so often they're so surprised with like, whoa, this is not what I was expecting.
No, and that's where I'm thinking about. That would be a definite push or challenge for us, is if we actually tried to vlog something, because that's not our strong skill set. You know, we're used to filming in the comfort of our home, sitting down and eating. We're not used to carrying the camera around and talking into it without people like noticing you. So I'm trying to think of like what are, you know, and the other thing that I think is very helpful is your viewers will tell you what they want to watch too. Yeah. And so we know we're not just doing the vlogging because that's what we want to push ourselves to do. But a lot of people are like, oh, I would like to see what a normal day is in your life, because they only see like this 20-minute segment of everything being polished and we're mic'd up and the lighting looks good. But what is it like the rest of the, you know, 23 hours of your day? So it's like, we're kind of like toying with the idea of that. But it's funny because I've been saying you need to start, but I'm not even listening to my own advice about vlogging because I'm scared, you know, of putting myself out there and doing that. So I don't know, just kind of rambling now.
Yeah, but I mean, also you have 10K subscribers, and you know, you would be an idiot if you didn't do what you were finding success with. So I mean, I get that, because I mean, I didn't even do the one mukbang I was supposed to do back in October.
Well, I didn't do the how-to video that I was supposed to do. I should just show my like camera setup right now, because there's all this stuff going on.
See, that could be a video. That would be a cool video.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I did a video a long time ago, and I remember I probably had a conversation about this with you, but I was thinking to myself, well, all these people are doing mukbangs, but what's missing? And then I told myself, well, no one ever told me how to do a mukbang. Like, no one said you need to do this, this, and that. No one told me the camera set. Like, all of the camera tutorials that were out there were very specific to just general situations or vlogging. And so one of the most popular videos on our channel, I just titled it "How to Top 5 Tips for Filming a Mukbang." That actually would be a very interesting video to redo, because I did that video maybe 3 months in. And so what I said back then, some of it still applies, but then there's other things where I'm like, no, this is like more important. And actually that might be a cool, how would this video be like now, like 2 years later? So you're giving me ideas. I need to write that one. I'm gonna type that one down before I forget. That might be fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a cool. Tom talks about this all the time with the channels that he watches, where a lot of the people that he watches are vloggers, and they talk about their video equipment, and they talk about like how they are making stuff, but they don't make enough of the stuff that they're making. It's just a bunch of like, this is the best camera, and like, this is how you film this. And he's always like, but where is your this? Whereas with you, hey, you're at 10,000. You've put in the work. You have, how many videos do you have?
I think we have 500, but a lot of them were live videos that we unlisted. And then there was a period in time where I was doing reaction videos on this channel, and that was not working out because I would watch those back and I would just cringe like no other. Like, I would say the same thing every video, and wasn't really proud of that. It was just something that helped me ensure that I posted a video for that day. So let me just react to this. There were some reaction videos that I did enjoy, but at the end of the day, I realized that wasn't what I wanted the channel to like be about. And then obviously once Mark came in the picture, then it was like, it was bigger bonds. It's almost like anything that we do potentially video. That's the draw at this point. Because we tried doing drink bongs and people have been gravitating towards that, but we haven't had any time to do that because we already drink a lot on our own personal time. So the film is like, Heather knows you were in one of our drink bongs.
Drink bongs are hard because like there's a recovery situation that has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't just eat and then like literally you could probably edit as soon as you're done. But like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think that's why our first couple of drink bongs were intense because we were taking shots. And then our camera, you know how the camera only films for like 30 minutes. So we had that pressure of like, well, we got to be a certain way before 30 minutes is up. And then we realized, oh, well, you can make it longer than 30 and then just edit it. But yeah. I don't know. We've tried a lot of different things on our channel to get to the 10,000. So I'm wondering if the people that subscribe for the Survivor videos I made or the K-pop reaction videos or there's this other we tried doing dancing videos. Those are fun though. I left those up on the channel because it's me and Mark that are doing it. And people like that. But I'm also just thinking like what else could we do? I did an unboxing once and I was like, I'm not good at this. And then I saw Tom's video and I'm like, okay, I'll leave it to the professionals. I got my Fitbit charge and I was like, yeah, because I was like, oh, well, I got a camera, but I don't know anything about like ISO and all these other terms. So
I don't either.
It's not my thing. You can't fake it on YouTube is what I'm saying. Some people are pretty good at it, but I can't do that. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the gig's going to be up at some point.
Yeah.
How do you know when something isn't working?
Thumbs down. No. Like you mean like content that you're producing?
Yeah, like if you're trying an idea, you said your reaction videos, you were like, we tried it.
That's a good point. I think I don't know about you, but when we film any of our videos, like we make it into like a viewing party in our living room and we sit there and we watch it, right? And then me and Mark have this running gag where it's like, is this a critical success or commercial success? So commercial just means it's going to get a buttload of views, but not necessarily the artistry that we want. Or is it going to be a critical success where it's like, ooh, new camera angle, or ooh, B-roll footage used effectively, or it's being timed with the music. And lately, all of our videos have been more geared towards critical success because we're not getting, I mean, I also don't know, I don't have benchmarks for views on our videos, but I also internally think 1,000 is decent, like, because that's what we average. So that means at least 10% of our, well, it's not even 10% because only 50% of them actually watch the videos. So it's just like, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I was just getting excited.
How do you know when something isn't working? But I like that you guys. It really, really makes me happy that you guys watch your videos and like talk about it because, I mean that is like a perfect. I mean, if you can't watch your own videos, then I feel like it's really hard for you to like convey the passion because like you can't even watch. Yeah, you can't even watch your own thing.
So I think that's answering the question that you just asked is like, how do you know if something's going to work? I don't watch my reaction videos because I just am like, I should react to my reaction videos, but I can watch ourselves eating a full-on meal. Like recently we did a video where we were dressed up as hot dogs. And I've watched that at least 5 times because I just think it's so ridiculous. We're eating hot dogs. We're making, lewd jokes. Like it's fun, I'll watch that. And so I think that's a good indicator is like being able to rewatch your own stuff. Because if you're not watching it, then no one else is going to want to either. So that's a good insight.
I love watching my old videos. Like even, as soon as something uploads, I'll give it some time and then I'll watch it again just because it's like it's on YouTube and I try to put myself in the subscribers' shoes. But I also love watching old videos. I love looking back, like especially when I'm just like in a slump. I'm like, dude, let's go back to 2016.
Yeah,
it's good times.
You number all of your videos, right?
I number the ones that fall into like the vlog series. Style? Yeah.
Okay.
So I have, I don't know, probably 450 videos like in the creator studio, but I only uploaded vlog 249 today. So a lot of them are like live streams or things that like were tutorials or something like that.
What's the last like thing that you learned and integrated in your channel that you're like proud of?
Sound effects.
Sound effects.
Sound effects. And it's Tom taught me that for sure. Like, you know, that hashtag video I was super excited about?
Yeah.
It wasn't the angles that, or like the, what is it called? The screen capture. Like cause that Zero to YouTube Hero is full of that. The thing I was proud of was like, when I did go to a screen capture, you heard, that's it. Like, that's what I was proud of. Cause it's like, you don't even notice it, but it adds just that extra layer. It just makes it more immersive. It's a more like, you know, it's a more immersive experience. So, it's, see, these are the things where it's so hard to daily vlog if I'm like spending 10 extra minutes out like trying to find the right sound effect, put it in the freaking timeline, line it up so that the transition like goes, you know, with this at the same time, like that. These are all things that like sometimes I wish people knew, which actually leads me to my next question, which is like, what do you wish people knew about?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. This is like another topic. You free next Tuesday? Gosh, there's so much. I think, well, one, it's when people make requests, it almost, I love getting requests, like, don't get me wrong, but sometimes the request is almost presented in a way where it's like, okay, like we can create that and it'll be no problem. But I think the amount of time, I know that there's a good chunk of people that also understand it, but I guess it's also difficult to really know how long it takes if you don't create yourself, right? So the whole, well, one is like figuring out what to eat. That's already a battle in itself, and that's outside of YouTube. Like sometimes we're just sitting around thinking like, what are we going to eat tonight? And then on top of that, it's like once we eat it, how do we present it? That's like another process. What do we talk about? How do we eat it? And then the editing is just like, my last video, I was so annoyed editing that video because I thought I caught the audio issue. And then it turns out later on in the video, there was another audio issue. And I'm like, I don't know if people know how many times you have to watch your video before you actually let other people watch your video, right? Yeah. And I watched it so many times where I'm like, how did I even let that happen? And that's just so frustrating. So there's just, I mean, I think it's just some of the amount of work and time, and that there is frustration behind creating is probably what some people don't see as often, because, you know, they see the 15-20 minute polished version of like, yeah, and then it's like, nope, I got to go to the office, fall asleep in my chair because I'm waiting for this thing to render and then find the right music. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not even, I mean, time, obviously, but also just the energy that it takes to be creative, you know, and to like edit your face and like, you know, 1 hour of just sitting on the couch is 1 hour of sitting on the couch, but 1 hour of like filming, recording, editing is like really stressful. Yeah. You know, not like a negative stress, but it's taxing. It's like exhausting sometimes.
Especially like if you, I think a lot of creators could probably relate to it, but I think the videos that people put out, they're so emotionally connected to what they're putting out. Like that's like a product of what they're producing. Like,
right.
There's pride, right? And so if something gets screwed up, it messes with your mental like state. Like I was in a bad mood. I was in the bad mood for the 10,000 subscriber video, which I shouldn't have been, but I allowed it because I goofed up on the editing on the back end. So it was just, yeah, it's frustrating sometimes, but it is what it is. I don't know what else to say.
What else? Is there something else? I'm trying to think of some stuff
that you wish other people knew.
Yeah.
Well, from a mukbang standpoint, like I've wanted to do a video on like the effects of filming mukbangs because I'm not my normal weight that I was like back in the day. I'm not like obese or anything, but I'm just like thinking to myself, in order to produce the videos that people are really down to watch and are excited to do. There's like some issues with like health and whatnot. So there's some of that goes on, and then cost too, because we don't always eat like exorbitant amount of foods in one sitting. And so I think that's one thing we've also been very conscious about. Like me and Mark don't try to go out of our way to eat a lot of food, right? We'll eat what we would normally eat too. So we've transitioned away where it's okay if we don't eat like a whole turkey. We can eat just the drumsticks and we'll be okay. So there's some of that going on too.
Right. You guys should do like a gym bong. Fitness bong.
Fitness bong. Oh gosh, that'd be funny.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, yeah. Jamie.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie. So yeah. Do you have any? I forgot what time we started. Oh wow, it's been a while. Yeah. So do you have any like other things, points, questions?
I mean, I think it's important to, well, one, because I'm doing the channel with Mark, like I at least have someone else to talk to. But I think if anyone is watching and they're thinking about being a creator, I think it's very helpful to have like a little community of people that you could bounce ideas off of, or just get feedback or vent. Because, sometimes I'll talk, if Heather's not available, then I'm like, oh, who do I talk to? So I think building that up is very important, because it helps with the whole, if you're in a rut, someone can kind of be like, oh, have you thought about this? Have you done this? And that really, helps build people up and gets them motivated. And so I think that's very important to like find. It's almost like the same concept as a gym buddy. Like it's hard enough to go to the gym by yourself, but if you have a buddy, you're more like, okay, like I want to go, I want to do this, I want to reach this goal, and someone's there encouraging you. So I think that's very helpful.
Yeah, it's essential. I mean, I don't know what I would do if not for, that's why I told you the very first thing when we started this live stream was like, thanks for doing this, because I'm not alone, and obviously having Tom is like, gosh, I can't tell you how we talk about YouTube every day. There's not a day that goes by where we're not thinking about our channels, for sure. But we also, I'm sure you guys do this, like, we're able to draw the line, but it's like, it's just so much a part of what we do and what we're excited about that we can't help but like talk about it.
Yeah. So what do you think we should do for merch?
Oh my
I feel like that we should be like considering that, and that might be a cool thing to have available for anyone that does show up to our meetup.
I mean, I've been thinking about merch so much. I like have been toying with the idea of like any new clothes I buy from now on are just going to be clothes that support creators that I care about. Because I just like, because I can wear it in the video. Like this would be someone else's channel. And if I support that creator, then I would love to like shout them out in that way. So I think you can't go wrong with shirts. I'm biased for snapbacks and hats, but if you can do something that's like food related, like, I don't know.
Holly says bibs.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Do adults wear bibs?
I mean, we can make
it work. I mean, it would be cool if that was our merch and like we actually wear it in our videos. I mean, that would be kind of funny. That's a cool suggestion.
That's cute.
Yeah, I just don't know. We definitely need to work on cards, because I don't know what it's been, but maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks we've been getting more inquiries. Not inquiries, but like it's just been coming up in conversation that we have this channel, and then people are like, well, how do I find it? And I'm just like, oh, it'd be so nice to just give you a card, but instead it's like they'll hand me their phone and I'm like typing it in. So it's just like, I don't know if we want to invest in that or not, but it'd be kind of cool.
That's so crazy, because literally this is my outline from today's video that I filmed.
Yeah,
it's business cards. Because I just
don't you have business cards?
Yeah,
okay.
So that's what the video is about. I just talked about all the business cards I've had throughout this journey, but this is my new one, designed by Tom Buck.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's
Ooh, is that like a gradient
yeah, that's actually my
on the
hair.
share part? Is it really?
Yeah, Tom said he took a picture
So,
or he took like a portion of this picture and just like used it as the
so wait,
back.
I have a question for you because I don't know if I have the answer or if I know this. So, you mentioned like branding being very important. And so when I think about your channel now, you've done such a great job at like this purple concept, purple wall, purple hair, and your branding. How did you land on that, first of all? Like, and then second of all, is there ever a point where you're like, I don't want to be part of that brand. Like, I don't want purple hair right now. It just crossed my mind, like, because I'm just thinking.
I don't remember um I don't remember like the I don't know, the idea of like purple hair ever being a thing because it never ever occurred to me that I would have colored hair, but I think my hair was getting to a point where it was like, hey, it was gross. It was just disgusting. And I was like, you know, I'd been doing blonde for a while, like my blonde
Yeah,
highlights, and I must have been scrolling through Instagram looking for like the balayage, that like trendy, like super
yeah.
blonde, whatever. And I think what happened was that there was a purple in there. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that looks freaking dope. Like, I want that. I don't know. I saw it and I was like, I just want that. And then, of course, I went on Pinterest and saw just like 1,000 of these like beautiful purple shades of hair. And um, I just connected with a hairdresser. I was like, could you do like, here's my Pinterest board, here's my Instagram saves. Like, could you do this? And she was like, yeah, let's experiment. Um, I, up until what last month, I let it completely grow out. So it was just black. Uh,
Hmm.
but the reason why I decided to dye it again, and I hadn't been keeping it up because it's expensive
Yeah.
to like maintain it. But um, you know, to me, it is now an investment because I can't tell you how many people have. It's like I don't even. As soon as they see me, it's like unmistakable. That is Heather. She
Yeah.
is the YouTuber. It's even more quintessential than the camera,
Yeah. Wow.
especially because my last business cards, the ones before the new ones were this.
Uh-huh.
So it was like purple this, just like purple. No one else has purple hair. No one. I don't know. I think there's like one other chick in Instagram world and YouTube world who has
Uh-huh.
it. She's Asian actually.
Uh-huh.
But even at VidCon, I mean, there's every other color and there's some purple, but it's like we're different enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how much it helps for branding. It's crazy. Like even Sean Cannell,
Uh-huh.
that's how he knows me for sure because it's like
Well, I
I
think
don't
when you told me to talk to him, just say she's the one with purple hair, and then he instantly knew who you
see
were.
that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
that just because that there you go. I'm never gonna not be purple because of
Well, the
that.
thing is like I've known you for a long time, and now I can't remember what you look like without purple. Is how good of a job you've done in like branding yourself in this way.
Yeah.
Because I think even when you said you let it grow out, we actually saw you, and I think during that time I still saw purple. That's the thing. It's like, oh.
That's so funny.
Um, Real quick question, because January is when Resident Evil will come out, and I do want to stream it, but I want to stream it to an audience that actually is there, but I don't know if that would alienate the audience, the existing audience we have. So, like, I want to say maybe was it almost 2 years ago when we played it, I could care less. I'm like, well, if people want to watch it, then they can. Now I'm more sensitive. Like, if I put this content on, will people like peace out? And now I'm like worried about that. So, what do you think?
Okay. So it depends what hat I have on. Okay. If I'm gonna have my consultant hat on, right? This is
Yeah.
like if you're a paying client, this is what I would say. I would say if you want to do that, start a new channel. Like
Okay.
don't put it on your channel right now because you know YouTube is doing its thing. It's like categorizing your content to mukbangs, and that's how you pop up and suggested and recommended, and the homepage and the YouTube tags are working, and all of it is relevant to each other. So that really helps your channel. And now if you're talking to me like as a friend, I would say, hell yeah, do it on your channel because it's your channel. And if that is like, I can't tell you how much, obviously I'm biased, but I had so much fun playing it. And like if other people have the opportunity to share in that, then hell yeah, you know, like why not?
The last video that we had live streamed was Overcooked, which was fine because that was still on brand. But that's why I was like, oh, it's okay. And then me and Mark were playing it and they could see it, like, and then we were talking, like, so I felt like, okay, that had more of it. This one seems a little bit more like left field. And so now I'm just like, oh, I don't know. And I'd hate to like do it and feel like it is detracting from the people that have made a commitment to watch us. But then also it's like, I don't want to, I don't know. There's like another part of me that just doesn't want to start another channel because then I'm going to go through that mindset of like, no one's watching this channel.
Yeah. Is there a way that you can, I guess you would have to use OBS, but is there a way where you can have like stream your faces too? Because if you did that, then I don't think it would be as left field because that's what people do. Like they watch you
react to it. And
yeah, they watch you react. Then they watch you play video games. Like,
yeah, we have a PS4 camera, so that just syncs up. So we didn't have that when we were playing the first time, but one of our friends got us one because we mentioned that we wanted a live stream. So they're like, "Oh, here, use this," and we were able to like broadcast our face. It's really only good for one face, though.
Oh, really?
Kind of hard to fit two. I mean, you could fit two, I guess, but Mark doesn't really play that game, and it's like a single player game. But he would actually be more entertaining for the reaction.
Yeah, because it's hilarious. It's fun. You know, that's a game to.
So I kind of want to like be committed to like what I'm gonna do before the game gets here. So I have until the end of January to really figure that out. And then I'm also thinking like, is it better if I do this other channel route? Then I need to do it. Like I would prefer doing it now to build an audience. So hey, I can just mention it on this channel. If any of you are interested in watching me play video games, subscribe to here. But I want to do that ahead versus like the week of when the game comes out, and then I'm like, I'm streaming. And at the end of the day, if it's just like you, Irene, Dan watching, I'm fine with that. But I'm also like, well, if I'm already doing it, then I'd like more people to watch it too, right? Oh, yeah. It's like greed. The YouTube greed is real.
You know, PewDiePie, I mean, he's been on the platform for so long. He's evolved 1,000 times. But, you know, PewDiePie is known as being a gamer, but he's like recently he's recently been doing book reviews. Like legit book reviews.
Uh-huh. Like, and how has that been received? People are liking it? People are...
I don't know. I actually don't know whether people are liking it. They're not hating it because he's still getting like insane, you know, millions of views. Yeah. There's been, through the comments I've scanned, a lot of people have been like, wow, this is actually like legit. I think people have been surprised more than anything, but I can't imagine a 13-year-old caring because he's, you know, the books he's recommending are like legit books. These aren't like, you know, 1984 or whatever. Not to diss 1984, but they're more like you have to go out of your way. They're not, you know, mainstream books that, you know, are on the top 100 before you die or whatever.
Yeah. So okay, so my last question, because my laptop's about to die.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of the successful channels in any genre really cater to like 13 and under crowd. Like, what are your thoughts on how to attract that? And I'm not saying that's who I want to attract per se, but that just seems to be a trend that I've noticed these other channels having, because I don't know if there's any research on which age group uses YouTube the most, but I would hedge my bets that the younger group is like on there more than we ever watch TV or play video games or anything else. So yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I personally, I mean, if you can figure out how to do it, there's one other creator in the Coachella Valley. I think he's 13, maybe 15. But all his content is like try not to laugh.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of younger like teens, young viewers. And I mean his checks of several $1,000s from YouTube. It's crazy, like just off of the ads.
Huh. Wait, so he does things to try not to laugh, or he's like doing that and broadcasting himself doing it?
He sews together like compilations. So
okay.
you don't see his face ever. It's just like memes and like other people's videos sometimes. And it's just like, I guess the challenge is that you're supposed to watch it with a friend and like whoever laughs.
How does he get away with not getting like
no
copyright?
Idea.
Oh, interesting.
No idea. But I mean, my point is like, if you have that, if you figure out a way to penetrate into that audience, like it's nuts. It's crazy, like how.
Well, I know mukbangers that can do that. I know mukbangers that do that, but then you can clearly see their tactics to attract to that crowd. And those are things that I know we wouldn't do. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I just know that that's not in us to just like talk that way or cry on camera or stuff like every video. So it's like, oh, I don't know.
I mean, for me personally, that's always something that I'm never gonna compromise, because there is that, like, I already feel weird when it feels like I'm almost being manipulative. Obviously I'm a marketing person, so I know how to spin things.
Yeah.
I know there's like that science behind it, but I also like I'm not gonna wear a low cut shirt.
Yeah.
Unless I just happen to be wearing one.
Yeah.
But I know I can, and I know that would like make an impact, but I'm not trying to attract that ish,
Yeah. Well, I've seen you have to like ward off those folks. So if our next video the title is our last video, and that's the title, and then like 2 seconds in, I'm like, with this camera, and then we use a different camera, like, would that rub you the wrong way?
When it comes to clickbait, there's a way. PewDiePie does clickbait a lot. Like, it's insane, but he's constantly forgiven. For some reason, he can get away with it.
Yeah.
And I know why. It's just part of his personality and the way that he like spins it. It's like, okay, fine, joke's on me.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to watch till the end. There's a way to do that. So like, I did it once. I said the vlog was ending, and straight up someone was like, unsubscribe. But then I guess I must have like populated again, because they came back and they were like, you popped in my recommended. Admittedly, I unsubscribed when you said that the vlog was ending and it was just season 2 or whatever. But like, now
it's so interesting how people are it's so polarizing for some people when I guess there's a level of deception that they don't like.
I think like if there's just that balance between like, clearly you're saying like, oh my God, someone's gonna get divorced, and like it's like not even about relationships. Like, that's stupid, But for that specific example, to me, that makes sense. Oh, did you just totally drop out? Okay. Am I still live? This is so awkward. I'm like talking to myself. Hello? Yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. I totally forgot that we were live streaming. I was just like talking to James, and then he dropped out. And then I was like, oh, I'm not on the phone anymore. And I realized that you guys are still watching. So I'm going to end it here, because that must have been really awkward, because James I don't know what happened. His connection is dropped. But go check out his channel, James Mark, on YouTube. They do mukbangs. Link in the description. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.